Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's a dreary winter afternoon where I am at least, and it is the perfect time to get cozy, to sit down with this new fabulous author to us, who I know I was telling her I'm standing you. I'm obsessed. I'm girl crushing. Love you so much. You're amazing. And I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. We are so excited to have the fabulous Diana Biller on with us today. Thank you so much for being here.
I am just delighted to be here.
Yeah, oh, we're just so excited. And with me, as always, is my fabulous co-host,
Tara. I feel every time I'm awkward about it. It's fine. You guys
love to be awkward. We love it. It's part of our bread and butter. It wouldn't be a show without being awkward, right?
It's true. It's true.
We're very good at it. We're very good at it. Let's say hey to our friends that are on right now. Hey, Terry and Megan. Oh my gosh, I bet Megan's already got questions. Hey, Sock and Abby Jean. Oh my gosh, the gang's all here. Hey, Paige, Lisa, Shannon. Oh my gosh, everybody. Loved your book, Diana.
Oh, thank you, Megan.
Hey, Cheryl and Sarah, and hello, Wendy. Hello from Wyoming Wells. I love that name. Oh my gosh, so fun. Linda, hi. Sorry I can't join in conversation, but I read the book a few years ago and I really liked it.
Well, thank you, Linda.
Well, we're glad you're joining us, that you can listen. Hello, Phantom Writer. We're so happy that you're here. This is going to be such a special afternoon. I'm just beyond excited. And I love to start out the show with, we've got our fabulous gal Sock, who creates really neat AI images that are inspired by the books that we read. And so right now, the background, which you can't really see, but I have a slideshow. Wait till you see. Let's take a peek at the gorgeousness that Sock created. This is a room from the Rose House.
Oh my gosh, with the tools there.
Isn't that fun?
Wow, the attention to detail is beautiful.
She always does.
Wallpaper.
Right?
Wow.
I know. She always does an incredible job. And every single time we meet, we have a different background inspired.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Right? I know. I love it so much. I love it. But oh gosh, I don't even know where to begin. I'm just so excited. We could start talking about your book. Oh, Mary's here. Hey, Mary. No rotting fruit in a lunch pail, though, she says.
Thank goodness.
Too funny. All right. Well, let's just start talking about you as an author. I think that would be a fun place to start. And certainly we'll be talking about your book that we read. So, what made you want to be an author, first of all? Let's start there.
Start with the easy questions, huh? I don't think there was any one thing. I think it was just a product of growing up reading, constantly, all the time.
Yes.
It was a career that for a long time seemed just like something that ordinary people couldn't do. Like that was just like being a Hollywood actor or something. That's the level of unattainable that it felt to me. But then in high school, I had a friend whose father was a short story writer. And it was like, oh my God, this is and they weren't like rich. They just lived in like a normal house covered in filled with books, but piles of books. But
yeah,
so that was the first time I was like, wait, so this is something that, people can do. And I certainly took my time getting around to it. But once I really decided, no, like, what if I just actually try? Because that's the scary part, right? Like so often it's just being like, well, we all want things. And I think a lot of us do that negotiating. Well, maybe I want this thing, but let me settle for this thing a few steps back. So I think for me, it was really about giving myself permission to just try to do it. And I feel so grateful. I feel so grateful.
That's just so exciting. I love that. I think that could inspire some of us here to sort of try for things that we think are not attainable in regular life. I love that.
Yeah.
You can apply that to so many.
Permission to think maybe you could.
I love that. I love that. And take us through your journey to publishing your first book.
Well, it's not something that I necessarily recommend to people, but I did start with NaNoWriMo, which actually I think gave me some really bad habits that I had to unlearn.
Oh no.
Just checking forward and writing whatever on the page is not my best method actually for writing. But National Novel Writing Month was huge back in 2014, when 2013, when I, wanted to start trying to be serious about it. And so a friend of mine just decided, well, let's just write. And so I wrote a terrible book. And then I wrote another terrible book. And then I wrote The Widow of Rose House.
Third time's the charm.
Right. Oh.
And that's a little bit of it too. Like I had to give myself permission to kind of be bad. Like they weren't, it's not like the most offensive things ever written, but they weren't worth editing. Let's put it like that. And I remember after that, the second terrible book, National Novel Writing Month was coming up again, and my friend and I wanted to do it again. I remember just sitting in my bathtub thinking, oh, but I have no ideas. What am I going to do? I'm never going to have another idea again. Like it's over for me. I was just languishing in my bathtub. And then out of nowhere, this idea comes like fully formed into my head. Edith Wharton, Ghost Hunter. And that is the spark that Alva Webster came from.
I love it so much.
And it was just, I think so many creative people have this feeling, oh my God, never going to have another good idea in my life. And sometimes even that, and then the idea happens.
Yes.
And so, writing the book was so joyful. Some of the, it's always fun when writing books to find out what characters are just going to come in and be a problem. Henry in The Widow of Rose House was never supposed to be a major character. He was just, I needed Sam to have like a business guy. He wasn't he just showed up in that first scene. And then I was like, oh, and actually Henry has, it's so funny because sometimes you have these planned characters and then sometimes there's always like a hitchhiker. And Henry was the hitchhiker for The Widow of Rose House.
We're glad you carried him along.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love Henry. Oh my gosh. Paige just made a lovely comment. Thank you for giving yourself permission to be a writer and going for it. I loved this book. Oh, I love Henry so much. Thank goodness you kept going with him. Says Cheryl.
Henry is a favorite of mine. Henry is a favorite.
Oh my gosh. So let's talk all about this book. I know that we know what the cover looks like, but just because why not?
It's a great cover.
I adore this cover. It very much gives those gothic vibes. Yes. I know we first talked about potentially reading this back in October, because of October.
I'm actually glad that you waited for January.
Yes, I am too, because it's got those spook, like the winter. I mean,
yeah, it's really a winter book. It definitely it's got the ghosts, so of course it's appropriate for the spooky season. But to me, it's like Hudson Valley in the winter. That's the vibe.
Yes. And I was thinking the same thing when I was reading. I was like, oh, and it was raining. Or snowing. It's snowing actually right now too, really hard. I'm hoping that nothing happens to my internet because it is really snowing hard right now. but it's anyway. But yes, I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, this is absolute perfection. I want to read something like this, I think, every January from now on, because it was such a beautiful experience as a reader. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna move this because I don't want to Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, see, there we go, being awkward. Let me take you out. No, I just mean, okay, I'm removing this because I want to see you as I read through some more of these fantastic comments. Male friendship for the win. Talking about Henry. Love, love, love good friendships in books. I love the cover after finishing it. I realized what the title means and why she's holding a key.
When I saw that cover, I just swooned. It's designed by Carrie Resnick, who also designed the cover for my most recent book, Hotel of Secrets.
Oh.
And, not all cover designers read the book or know what the book is about. And Carrie just gets it, she putting that key in, making sure that the floors in Hotel of Secrets, who are their own side character, making sure they really shine. I just it makes me feel so good to have a beautiful cover on my work.
Truly, truly. And I love Sock just said, and see, this is why I want to remove this so I can see you. The person in third is always covered by the comment. Hotel of Secrets is prime January reading as well. Oh my goodness. Well, that is very exciting. That is very exciting. So let's see. I don't even know where to begin. So talking about the key and I have to say, I tend to read more light and fluffy type books. This really took me on an emotional journey that I love. I cried towards the end with our ghost, who's of course named Rose. I mean, and we can talk about spoilers here. People have read the book. So the way that she interacts with Rose, I mean, I just cried. It was I'm going to try not to cry right now. It was just so beautiful when she gave, I'm going to do it. I'm going to cry. When she took her outside and she goes, I have permission. And she's like, you gave yourself permission. And I was like, that's just so powerful.
Yeah. I cried writing that scene.
So good.
Which is how I usually know that a book is done. If I start crying,
yes,
then it's probably the draft that we can go forward with. I probably found the actual shape of the story. But no, that was probably my first experience with that. And Rose was a character that has been in my head for a very long time. I think it's probably obvious to many that she's somewhat based on Rosemary Kennedy, who had a lobotomy famously and was kind of shoved away from the family. But also just thinking about, all the unwanted people.
Misunderstood.
And so she's, I think she's lived with me for longer than anybody else in the book.
Wow.
So giving her a happy ending, which was, of course, just rest.
Yeah.
That meant a lot to me.
Beautiful. So beautiful. Oh, I love it so much. I love when the cover reflects the story, says Shannon. Phantom Writer says, I wasn't sure I would like it because Alva's past was dark, but you made it so full of hope and resilience. I ended up loving it. Yes, I love how you balance the dark pasts of Alva and Rose with the funny banter and the cuteness of Sam and his family and his love for Alva. Truly. Let's talk a little bit more about Sam. So I'll stop crying. Tell what inspired you to write one of the most yummy professors I've ever read in my life, if not me.
I don't know. I can't stand him.
What? You can't stand him? Are you serious? Is it because all your fans talk about him nonstop and you're sick of him?
Oh, he's just so, you put Sam into a scene and he's over here, he's over there, something is already cold. There's probably a cat or a chicken or and what does that man have in his pockets? Yeah. He just goes life in this beautiful way. No, in all seriousness, one thing that was really fun and challenging with Widow is that, my God, they are living in two different worlds. Alva is living in a Gothic novel. 100%. Like, that is her world. It is very gothic. It is very dark. Sam is over here in this, like, it's not like he's never had tough times. Like, they all lived through the Civil War. But Sam has never doubted in his whole life that he is loved exactly as he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, I thought a lot about what we weren't, I don't think, calling toxic masculinity when I wrote this book, but what is toxic masculinity? And I thought, so many of like the lovely men that exist in our society just get the shit kicked out of them growing up. Like, they get that really, beaten psychologically or even physically kind of out of them. Or they end up still hanging on to the sweetness, but with a lot of, with some scars to go along with that. And so I think Sam is my fantasy of like, what if we just like let this sweet, soft guy grow up and his family just said, yay, sweetness and softness is great. And that's how he went forward into his life.
Yeah. Wow. And what a juxtaposition between the way his family treated him. And I mean, then we've got two actual comparisons here.
Yeah.
We've got Alva and the way her family treated her, but then we've also got Rose and the way her family treated her. But then you see Sam, who's this, and I love that when he refers to himself as a genius, he's not even doing it in an arrogant way. He's just like, I am a genius. I mean, I just loved it. He was nurtured. He was just nurtured and accepted.
And because of that, he can be nurturing, right? Like, he has so much flexibility in himself to just also give love. I think my favorite moment with Sam might actually be when he like insists, he bullies her into letting him drive her into town to go yell at a contractor. And he's not doing it because he thinks she needs protecting. He's just doing it because he loves being around her. And like, he's going to go in and like watch her yell at this contractor. And that's just like fun for him. Wait, you see how great she is, you
guys? And that is a man who's going to stand behind and just go crazy over and support their woman and be like, look at her go.
Yeah.
Look at her go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you see this? Like, and like they'll be doing that when they're 60, and it'll be like everyone will just be like, oh, like, yeah, Sam, we get it. He's amazing.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Mary says, I love Sam and his crazy family. Paige says, Sam is absolute book boyfriend material. 100% Paige.
Mm-hmm.
Quirky, but so lovable and in tune with his emotions as well as Alva's emotions. Yes, yes. I was so amused, says Cheryl, that he's kind of a celebrity in the community. Everyone loves him. Yes, I loved how starry-eyed they all got about him. So cute.
I know. Like, and the way that he doesn't even realize it most of the time, but Henry, when he's there, is like just working that to, like he
Henry tries to keep him on track. I love the very first meeting when he sees her and then he's kind of like taken aback, but then they start talking and he's like, well, that'll sell her book, and he kind of like shuts that guy down, and Henry's like, oh no.
I love it. I love it so much.
It's so good.
Yeah, truly. And it's interesting. One of the things that resonates for many people that I've spoken to, and for me as well, as you know, I'm a romance reader. So I read a lot of love scenes. And this was like their first one was one of my favorite love scenes that I've ever read in my life. One with got the quirkiness going again with him wearing mismatched socks. I think he's only wearing mismatched socks. I was like, this is the cutest. Just love that.
Say, why do they need to be matched? Like, interrogate that. Why? There's no actual reason.
But there's just something so human and tender and adorable about that I just, I just loved that. And then, of course, I think what we had talked about multiple times with different people, either in my Instagram messages or on Discord, was how when he was so in tune with her and noticed immediately when she became uncomfortable, and then he tried to try to be lighthearted. You know, he's just like, "Oh, I'm tired," or whatever, just immediately just stopping, and again, just showing his caring and his nurturing nature just throughout, and it was just beautiful, just beautiful.
I don't know if you mentioned, sorry, my son was talking to me, but I don't know if
Not
you
at all.
trying to be two places at once, but when
Sure.
he goes for her neck and you know that that's obviously a spot that we haven't heard in the story yet, but we shortly do. And like she tells him, because he can notice her stiffen. He notices the change in her. And I just thought that was beautiful, as you know, probably somebody who's dealt with trauma before in a situation that felt like you could be seen in that.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, I think so many women have some experience,
Yeah.
you know, like that, and maybe their needs were respected or maybe they weren't.
Mm.
But I will say at the time when I was writing that scene, it just kind of came out that way. It wasn't planned. But I did think, oh God, what am I doing? Like, oh, you know, I thought readers might read that scene and be like, what the fuck is this doing in a romance novel? So which seems silly now, but you know, I started writing this book 10 years ago. So
Yeah.
like even that, it took a long time to make it through the publication pipeline. But you know, then that felt really like, oh, I don't know if I should even leave this in. I don't know if I should put in something steamier or something, you know.
Yeah.
But in the end, that has been a scene that has connected with so many readers.
Yes.
So I'm so grateful for that. Like, I'm so grateful that it resonated, and to hear people, you know, tell me, like, that means a lot to me too. Yeah, people say like, no, that scene really mattered to me. Oh, thank you, Abby.
5 stars just on that scene alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want emotion, we want caring, we want the love, you know? I feel like that's what really resonates, as opposed to like, "Oh, it's so steamy. Oh," you know? I mean, that's what made this so incredible and just stand out. Megan mentioned, "I also love that when Sam is facing hard truths at the end and faces them, but doesn't become less hopeful." Yes, yes.
Yeah, he really had to have kind of a moment. No one wants to be with that guy who is just, you know, so happy because he's so privileged and he's not actually looking at any of that privilege. Like, that's not actually attractive.
Yeah, truly.
So, you know, I really wanted to, like, you know, Sam had to learn some things,
Yeah.
which, you know, and he did very with grace. So that was yay.
Yes, truly. Yeah, I mean, I love that he really comes around and he goes, "Oh," you know, initially he's like, "I just figured I'd love her and then everything would be fine." And it's just neat to see his evolution.
I love that Henry kind of shows him that, because you have Henry who is obviously taken in by this lovely family, but has had something happen to him in his past, obviously, that makes him, you know, be like, hey, that may not be enough for her. You know, and I loved that aspect of it too. It's just kind of showing him that reality.
Yeah.
That's something that, you know, I really, that's personal to me, because I was kind of a Henry in my childhood. Like, I was taken in by a family who really like loved me very wholeheartedly. But there is that moment, like, even in that the wholehearted love doesn't make the past go away. No matter how much the people who are doing the loving, you know, might want it to just make everything better.
Yeah.
So I was, you know, grateful to Henry for showing up and like having a foot in both worlds. I think that really helped Sam.
Yeah.
That's a great point. And how many romance novels have we read where it's like, "I love you. Okay, my life is fixed." So again, just beautiful writing.
That easy.
Cheryl says this, and another huge theme in this: acceptance, but also healing. The love scene was so much more than just physical connection. It was the beginning of Alva's
Oh,
healing.
you're right, Cheryl. Yeah.
And like her trust too, I think, because that was a big thing. She didn't trust anybody.
Right.
I mean, she had been put through the ringer by her family, obviously by him, her ex-husband, or well, dead husband, I guess.
I know. That trip to
I say that. Ex-husband.
I don't know. That dead guy.
That dead guy.
He's dead.
He doesn't even need a name. And then now she's being blackmailed by his family. She thought she'd gotten out, but she's being pulled back in. So it's just like this idea of like she's starting to trust him, and I just love that too.
Thank you.
Jean, late husband. There we go.
My brain is not firing on all cylinders today, okay?
No, please. No, I was right along there with you.
Abby Jean's amazing.
She wanted him to be an ex.
That's right. We were hoping for that.
I mean, she does try to divorce him.
She gave it her best shot.
She did.
And I love the way that unfolded too, because for a while there, we're all sort of wondering, how did that happen? And what was her role? And why was she there?
Listen, I would not have blamed her. I just want that to be clear. It would have been a different book.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I have to tell. Okay, so and let's see. So talking about the mystery of that, we've also got the mystery of what is going on in this house. Did you do any, like, indulge me, because I love to talk about hauntings and ghosts occasionally. And have you ever seen a ghost? I'm going there.
Listen, I don't believe in them.
Well, there we are. That cleared that up real fast.
My writing partner does, and it's a source of some tension because we once went on a writing retreat where she claims she saw one. And I claim very, very much that she did not. I'm the Scully.
Scully! Oh my gosh.
No, what I did do though, because like whether or not I believe in ghosts in like my life, like I really believe in ghosts as a metaphor. Like I think we all have ghosts.
Sure, yeah.
So what I did that I'm really happy I did was read a lot of Victorian ghost stories. I wanted to, well, and I don't know if y'all knew, but there's actually a tradition of ghost stories at Christmas. So this is like the Christmas winter ghost story. Like I felt like it made a lot of sense to me. Like people used to like get around the fire and tell ghost stories. So like that's what I really read a lot of them and I loved them. So I integrated a lot of that. There are a lot of homages to Victorian ghost stories, like throughout the book. The ghostly hand that comes out and extinguishes. A lot of the tricks that Rose is playing come out of it's like Rose was reading the Victorian ghost stories too, and she was like, "Aha! Like I know what will scare people."
Were there any Victorian ghost stories that stand out that you remember just off the top of your head?
I think I'm right in saying this now. Keep in mind, this was several years ago, but I think that Edith Wharton wrote a collection.
Really?
I think she did, or at least one or two.
Okay.
And of course, she's in so many ways the inspiration for Alva. She wrote a book on design. Maybe the first American like decorating book Edith Wharton wrote.
Get out.
I don't know, just like in my head, like Alva, just is in Edith Wharton's red suit. So that's what really stands out to me is that kind of literary tradition, I guess.
Yeah. I
Um,
love that.
I love that tradition.
Mhm. Now, did you come across I don't know how much research that you, because I know I've spoken to authors who do tons of research and then those who like to make up their own worlds. But if you had done any research, did you come across any homes from that area that had been
Yes.
considered
So
haunted?
it's based on two houses. One is unsurprisingly Wharton's Mount, the Mount in upstate New York. It's not upstate. It's upstate from New York City. I'm pretty sure in lower New York, but upstate New York. And then the one of the Vanderbilt mansions. And I wish I could remember, but
Mm.
I can't. In that area, and I toured both of them. And the I think that the Vanderbilt one was where I got some of the specific design inspiration. And then some of it is just made up because, Alva had her own ideas and the house had its own ideas. I wanted the house to be kind of going through the same journey that Alva was going through. Like, it was kind of cramped into societal norms and it wasn't happy. um, you know, and then she kind of comes in and does what she wants, to do and opens the house up literally and brings light in literally. And though I made Life to be much darker and uglier and scarred than, of course, the Vanderbilt's vacation home was.
Well, and I believe I remember there's a moment where she realizes the house seems happier when Sam is there.
Yeah.
And I think that's true because Rose likes him.
Yeah.
Because even Rose thinks he's a fucking celebrity.
Really messes with him with the numbers, and that's just
she's like, oh my gosh, that is so great.
Yeah.
Everyone's in love.
He's so annoying.
Because he looks at it as like scientific. Like, I love that aspect. He's like, this is a problem I need to solve, and this is how you do it.
This is how you do it. And he wanted to listen to her. Like, he was so curious. He wanted to be like, yeah, what is your deal? Like,
Right?
And this is another, like, a takeaway for me, just reiterating the idea of approaching problems with curiosity as opposed to like negativity.
Yeah.
I mean, you can apply that to just about anything and it works so much better.
I did really think, like, if there are ghosts in the world, like, who says they're at all defined by human imagination?
Yeah.
And I think Alva asked Sam, "Can you get rid of it?" And so, like, maybe if that's what it wants.
Right.
Ask.
You can't just uninvite.
You can't just uninvite a ghost. That's so rude.
And I was just fascinated as we were going along, and they're hashing this out and discovering that it's one ghost manipulating the mind, like reading the mind. I was so like
spreadsheet that I had to have to make
fascinating, like tapping into people's fears and then presenting itself in such a different way. That was just so fresh, like just such a fresh take on ghosts and hauntings. I just found that fascinating. I love this. Megan says, yes, you did such a great job connecting the theme of healing between Alva, the house, and Rose. Finally, I love stories that have the deeper thread throughout. And Abby and Jay and Lee, she believes.
I think I'm in the minority, and I fully accept that I'm asking for it.
Oh my goodness, too funny. So is it safe to, well, not safe, but is it fair to ask you, if you don't want to answer this question, that's fair. I get it. Do you have a favorite character in this book? And if you don't, I understand. Not to put you on the spot.
No, I think the true favorite would have to be Alva because, she came from my heart. And, something that you guys have probably heard about this, talked about this because you're this amazing romance book club. But something that really blew my mind when I first started wanting to write romance was, I think it must have been, it might have even been like an academic paper or something. But someone said romance is the genre of healing.
Yes.
And I thought, oh my God, yes. Like, that's what it is. I think romance is the genre of many things to many people. But to me, romance is about healing journeys. So I think, Alva came so much from that. She's so wounded. I wanted to write this character that has really had the worst already happen to her. There's nothing that's going to happen in this book that is worse than what Alva has already lived through.
Yeah.
So I wanted to write about that. Like, the healing journey is really hard. It's not actually pretty. It's not a montage. And so I just wanted to sit with her through that. And I don't know. So she's the dearest to me. But then, of course, I love that dumb Moore family. A lot more about them.
Yeah. Well, and the talking about healing, I love how initially Sam was going to go tell her parents off and just sort of, but he was noticing her though and honored her wishes. He didn't want her to be disrespected, but at the same time, I think that really helped solidify the trust aspect between the two of them. What does she need? What's actually going to help in this moment?
Yeah.
And he has to listen to her.
Yeah.
He has to listen to her,
Mhm.
which just being listened to, that woman hasn't been listened to in her life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So this is just so beautiful. What you're talking about with romance too, they say like a lot of the books, a lot of fiction people read. I'm trying to think of the specific word. Catherine Center does some wonderful author's notes, and one that I think it was in Hello Stranger, I want to say, but it really resonated with me, talking about just how incredibly valuable the romance genre is and how it brings hope and healing. She didn't mention healing, but I love that you said that. I think that that's so critical. But talking about how most people, when they read fiction, they know something's coming. They know that there's an end coming, and often that comes with a sense of dread or various emotions that you would tie to this sense of the book closing. But with romance, she considers it consistently anticipation. Like, you're anticipating good things. And I think that's why we love it so much.
Well, you got to get that HEA, right? For it to be a romance,
Right. It's different. And
It
it's so true. Like, most genres have some kind of formulaic destiny.
Yeah.
And I think the beautiful thing in romance is that our formula can be turned into so many beautiful different things.
Yes.
Like, I think that's what made me love it in the first place.
I love that Sock also brings up, but Sam also had the social capital to enforce consequences against her parents. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
A little vengeance did have to be taken.
A little bit. It's fine.
They were pretty awful.
Oh my God.
I love too that he kind of showed. I'm going to be honest, I can't remember her late husband's name.
Elaine.
I almost just said Alfred. Whoops.
Obviously. But that Sam views him almost as like a predator of sense, is because he views his sister, who was the same age or close to the same age as she was when they met. And like, he preyed upon her in that instance, and like, because he wanted her for her money. And they were like 15 years apart.
I know.
And which was acceptable kind of in that day, but he saw it as something very different. He's like, no, that's not okay. And I like that aspect.
So, like, and no, like, marriages like that, especially for women like Alva, that wouldn't have been unusual. I think one thing that was fun was thinking about how class interacts with mores. Like she's at this, she's at this very wealthy New York high society, and the penalties there seem so dire. Like, my God, she could lose her reputation. Like, this is so dire. And I did love what stepping out of that class did. Like, okay, well, I guess some like people might look at her weird or something, but if she doesn't want to have like another society marriage, then it doesn't matter anymore. And Sam, he wasn't raised like that. So to him, this is just like, what are these people doing for money and for social what?
Yeah.
He was lucky.
Mm-hmm. I love Shannon's comment here. I love how romance can rip my heart out, but it always puts it back together even better. Truly.
Yeah, and I feel like people kind of sometimes commenters trivialize that, but that's the promise. That's that beautiful healing promise.
Yes.
You too
Yes.
will be healed.
Yes.
In a really good romance novel, you too will be healed by it.
I love it so much. I love it so much. So we've had a chance to talk about this fabulousness, and there you go again. I'm sorry. There you are from behind the comment. I would, and we can always come back if anybody in the comments wants to ask more specific questions about The Widow of Rose House. Go for it. Is there anything, by the way, Diana, that you want to mention before I mention some of your other books?
Oh,
This one.
Just that it makes me feel so good that this book is, I feel like it's having a really beautiful life. It's out there connecting with readers. It was published in 2019 before the pandemic, right before the pandemic.
Yeah. Wow.
And a lot of books are not lucky enough to have the kind of life that this one has had. And it means so much to me. Like, every person who reads this book means so much to me. Because this book is really important to me. So like, I'm just so grateful that it is still out here, still being read. Like, not that 5 years should be a long time, but it is a long time, right now.
Absolutely.
So that just means a huge amount to me.
Yeah. I mean, that is really exciting, because as the booktubers or book talkers or book Instagrammers know, you go on these social platforms and it's all like, what's coming out? It's coming out. This is coming out next. And,
it's the fire hose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so for something to have this kind of life and to continue to build, that really says a lot about how incredible it is.
Just means, like, it means everything to me.
Yay. Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible. Sock said, I liked the stakes were her book rather than her marriage prospects. Yes, definitely. Yeah. And we have a new friend here. Hey, Lisa. Thank you for joining us. We are just talking to the fabulous Diana Biller about her incredible works, including The Widow of Rose House. And then we cannot possibly let you go without talking about your other books. Because let me tell you, we've already had people that have done a huge deep dive into your backlist. I think they've read everything already. They're like just binging all things Diana Biller. So tell us a little bit about, I've got 3 here to talk about it briefly, if that's okay with you. Tell us a little bit about, and we can go in any order you want. I have the Brightest Star in Paris, as you saw, The Hotel of Secrets, which we've mentioned already, and then the Christmas novella, A Christmas Spark. Tell us anything you want to tell us. We want to know.
Let's talk about the 2 that are in the more series. Okay. So The Brightest Star in Paris and The Christmas Spark.
Okay.
And I'm just laughing at these 2 books because, the memory I have of these 2 books is, oh, right, when I had to learn about chemistry for A Christmas Spark. The the worst of the worst when I had to learn about neuroscience for
Oh,
the first time in Paris. I have this huge honking book.
I love it.
It would be so great if the Moors were not scientists.
You're like, why did I do this?
I have that stinking book. I think I.
Oh yeah, I want to see this. I love it.
Yes. Oh God, it's. Ugh. Still haunts me.
Good grief. Good grief. Megan's got a couple things. I loved A Christmas Spark. I can't wait to read the other two books. And are those three, the Brightest Star in Paris, A Christmas Spark, and The Widow of Rose House, are officially a series, would you say?
Yes, they are. I know the covers are kind of disparate and all over the place, and that just reflects publishing trends over the last 5 years.
Well, there you go. There you go.
So they are, and there will be a third book that will be Maggie's book, which I am writing myself, and well, obviously I'm writing it myself, but I'm publishing it myself.
Get out. Wait. So when can we?
So hopefully the end of this year or the beginning of next year. So it's on my horizon. It's the next step. When I finish the book I'm working on right now, it's the next in the queue.
We are very excited.
Everybody pray that everything goes well in finishing this book.
Right. So you're working on a different project right now.
Yes. And I've stepped slightly out of the romance genre, although there will still be a happy ever after, because that's not leaving me. But it's a little more women's fiction-y than romance. This one, it's set in LA. I wanted to do a dual timeline book. I wanted to do something that actually had a contemporary heroine, as well as a historic heroine. So that's been so much fun. I live here in LA, so setting the book here was close to my heart. And that's been great. But, it was also teaching myself to write in a somewhat new genre. So it took a little longer because I had to, learn. So that is almost done. We're looking at the next few weeks that should be done. And then Maggie's book is the next up. And I am really excited to return to them. I can't wait. She's going to get into some real shit. I just know.
Obviously explosions.
Catastrophe. I don't.
Oh boy.
Sorry to the state of New York. I don't know if they can afford her. So her book is next up, and I'm really excited about that. The Moors are so important to me. I feel I genuinely feel like they helped me heal. I really do. And I always love spending time with them. In The Brightest Star in Paris, it's Benedict's book, Sam's brother.
Yes, we haven't even talked about Benedict. This is the first time we've even mentioned him. Poor Benedict. I loved him too. I loved his character too.
I mean, he's so fun.
Again, talking about healing, or am I misremembering? He had from the war, right? He was this character.
Yeah, and that kind of is, the arc of The Brightest Star is that he was a doctor in the Civil War, and that was at a time when being a doctor in America was just 1 year of medical schooling repeated twice.
Oh gosh.
These were not, the American medical system was not
a little different.
So, he was really flung out. I think he was only 18. I don't remember that. But I think he was very young. He was a teenager when he kind of just wanted to volunteer. And he went out onto the battlefield, but he was woefully underprepared. He ended he did the best he could. But of course, the Civil War was gruesome. Mm-hmm. So in Brightest Star, he and the heroine Amelie, who is Alva's friend from France, They actually met when he was right after the Civil War. They met, and she kind of gave him some life back. And just kind of reminded him that life could be beautiful too. And then fast forward, I don't know, 10 or 15 years, and he is doing great. He has this great family. He has this great, practice. He's at the forefront of what was not yet called neuroscience. And Amelie, on the other hand, is going through some really difficult times. Like her life left has just been a steady decline. Yeah. So he kind of views this as like he owes her in his head, like he owes her his life in his head. So I will say The Brightest Star in Paris is a tough one. So I would go ahead and say that. Well, listen. Book.
Oh, God.
Was it smart to write a romance novel that features syphilis as basically like a tertiary character? Again, it was released in the middle of a worldwide pandemic.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no.
Who can say?
Who can say?
I see we have some questions.
Oh, yes, thank you. I'm like, okay, and let me move this so I can see your lovely face. Okay. I have a general question regarding editing. If you use an editor, have you ever disagreed with a suggested edit? And if so, how do you handle that? Do you make the edit anyway, or can you say no?
So these 3 books, so not the Christmas Spark, but Hotel, the books, not the novellas. They all were traditionally published, which means that I worked with the same editor at St. Martin's Press, who I really like. Of course, I have disagreed with edits because I have a big ego when it comes to that. So I remember once Vicky, my editor, told me that she thought the word crystalline was too obscure and fancy sounding, and I took this very personally. I was ranted about that for 3 or 4 days.
Oh my goodness!
She told me to take the word crystalline out of a sentence. Like it was, I could just delete it. It didn't change the meaning. I could have just given her that one.
Yes.
Like emails were exchanged.
Emails were exchanged. You hear that, Shannon?
Most of the time, most of the time, if you're working with a good editor, most of the time the edits are right. Yeah. And I do try to have enough humility to thank you, Shannon. I still think I'm right.
We're gonna make that a thing, I think, from now on. Somebody's bringing this word up.
Great word.
I can feel it. I can feel it coming. Trying to think of how to include that in the sentence.
The real blow for The Widow of Rose House is that while I love the title, The Widow of Rose House, it was not the title that we wanted originally. I wanted the title The Age of Incandescence. I thought it was a really clever play on the Age of Innocence. I also thought it got, I think that Sam is incandescent and then he works on electricity. I thought it worked on so many levels, but then similar to crystalline, we discovered that incandescent wasn't a word that played well.
All right. I think Maggie's book should be like the Crystalline Chronicles.
The Crystalline Chronicles of Incandescence. Maggie's book already has a title, and it is called The Theory of Splendor.
Ooh.
The Theory of Splendor. I love it already.
Tell me that splendor is a wrong word because I'm publishing it myself, so no one can tell me. Wrong.
I love splendor.
Genuinely, most of the time, editors are right. Thank you, Megan. It's such a burden.
It's such a burden. Diane, oh my gosh, I love it.
I remember feeling when Vicky had finished her go through of this book, and really, just it wasn't even a heavy edit, but it was just when an editor is good at their job. I remember feeling like it was Kate Middleton before and after the glow up, like the royal glow up. Like, I thought the book was really good before Vicky had gone through, but after, like, she had hair extensions, everything was like perfectly coiffed, the eyebrows were done. Everything was impeccable after Vicky had gone through. And it was funny because it was like, wow, like I couldn't have done that. That's a gift. Like that itself. I guess the other question was, can you say no?
Oh, right.
I think that is a tough one. If you're in a traditional relationship, like if you're being traditionally published, you give up an awful lot of power. I do not have final say on the cover. I do not have final say on the title. I'm also very aware that I have a limited number of fits that I can throw. And you want to save the fit for the for the thing that like really, really matters.
We are literally getting the tea right now.
Oh, yeah, we are. I'm loving this so much.
You came on the perfect book club.
This is the tea.
It is the tea.
It is. Strategy. You don't want to burn. I didn't want to burn. In the end, I didn't want to burn a bridge over Crystalline because I thought I would probably have bigger battles to fight.
Sure.
In the future. So I wanted to save that. Now that I'm going to be self-publishing a book, which is another huge education ramp up, and people who do it successfully are just I'm in awe of them. But now it's kind of, I have the other problem is that now I'm in control. And there is, you can have too much control too. I negotiate that.
You gotta get somebody rein in.
I know, right? Well, we've got the first sentence here for your new novel ready. The Moore family with its crystalline structure is incandescent.
Oh, I love that. They would love that.
You need a first sentence. There you go.
Oh.
Hearing Diana speaking about editing, I think I understand why I like self-published authors.
Listen, I am amazed. I know a lot of very successful self-published authors. These people are geniuses, and they're not just geniuses, they're Renaissance women. They can do oh my gosh, sorry, I just got distracted by Abby Jean's comment that struck me with horror.
Isn't that crazy? Abby Jean.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
That Abby, that was so upsetting that I had to
I was going to highlight it in a minute, but hey, we can talk about it now. Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's crazy. But that was a rare case, she says.
I mean, you obviously hope that you're going to be with an editor who gets you.
Yeah.
I think I was really blessed to have an editor that actually really wanted this book, wanted to work with me, likes me personally. We had all these fires these last couple of weeks here, and Vicky and I don't have a book together right now, although maybe we will again in the future, but she still reached out to me, just to be like, hey, you okay? So I think I was really blessed. Yeah. But the loss of control is scary. And I know people who have not been lucky like that and who have ended up working with editors who, for some reason, don't like their work, which is always confusing to me because I'm like, why did you buy it? But I know a lot of editors who've had a lot of their joy killed, or a lot of authors who've had a lot of their joy killed.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, that is a terrifying case.
Yeah. Wow. I had no idea. I'm glad she shared that with us. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. I tell you, this has been the most incredible afternoon. I knew it would be. I've been looking forward to this since I finished your book.
I had so much fun with you guys. Had so much fun.
We're just going to read everything. We're going to read all the things.
Love it.
And we're so excited about, now forgive me, did you say the title of the book that's coming out? You said it's finished in a few weeks, but it's probably not coming out in a few weeks.
No, because I'm going to try to traditionally, no. I imagine Maggie's book will be out before this book.
Okay.
I want to traditionally publish this book, so that'll be in the pipeline for who knows. And I no longer give, listen, the Age of Incandescence issue really cost me a lot of trust.
Sure.
For traditionally published books, I no longer title them.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's a good point. You're like, why should I bother? They're going to change it. I
worked really hard on that one and they didn't like it, so I actually ended up loving all my titles.
Oh my gosh.
But I can also be a big brat. So no, it's got a working title in my Scrivener documents.
Right. Sure. But you're like, I don't want to do it.
An LA book. You see me publish an LA book with the dual timeline. That's the book I'm talking about.
That's the one. That's what she was talking about. And also Maggie's not in this. So
Maggie's not in this.
That's another giveaway. So where can we know we want to binge your backlist. What else can we do to get our Diana Biller fix? Where can we find you?
Yeah, sign up for my newsletter. Sometimes I send one.
I think I've got everything linked in the description box already. If not, I'm going to do that right after we finish.
Yeah, just that. And when there is news, I send it.
Nice.
I am somewhat active on Instagram. Other than that, honestly, I've kind of left some social media because I wanted to focus more on, on that damn Scrivener document. But Instagram, my newsletter is always, that is the place to get the source. Sometimes I send out, special extras through that. And if any of you read the Hotel of Secrets and want the little epilogue that I wrote for it, that's in a past newsletter, but if any of you want it, please feel free to email me and I will just send it to you. So
okay. And what is your email?
It
is online.
Through the website.
Through the website. Okay.
Yeah, there's a contact form. Feel free to just shoot me an email and I will send you the link.
I think you're going to get a lot of emails. Well, this was such an incredible afternoon. I'm so thankful that you got to spend it with us. We've already got some people. Thank you so much, Diana.
Thank you guys. What an amazing group this is. I am just blown away by y'all.
They're just amazing. I said it before and I'll say it again. Best community in the world.
I'm just so impressed and touched. You guys, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, this was such a blast, says Paige. Thank you so much for being here.
Paige, thank you guys.
Well, bye. We're just wrapping up. Bye. I'm so sorry, but be sure to watch the playback because oh my gosh, we spilled some tea. It's incredible. It's incredible, Vi. You're gonna love it. Yes. Oh, I know. I haven't read the Hotel of Secrets yet, but I want. Same. Right. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, this was so lovely. And we will definitely be keeping tabs on you. We wish you all the luck. Again, thank you for spending some time with us, and we will look for you wherever we can. All right. Well, you all take care, and we'll see you next time. Oh my gosh, I just realized something. I'm so sorry. See, again, I get to be awkward. We can't. Next month, Tara is hosting. Yeah. We're figuring out the dates for the reading sprint and the book club and the live show, and we will be letting you know, right, Tara?
Yes, I haven't decided. I've been busy, so I haven't decided. I need to talk with Bea, see if she is available for it, and then we'll let everybody else know.
Wonderful. I wanted to make sure I did that before we said goodbye. Sorry. Okay. Now we really will. So you guys got to practice waving. Now we're gonna do the real thing. The real wave, double hand, whatever you want. Princess wave, it all works.
Gotta do the royal wave.
The royal wave. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.